A warm welcome to all the viewers, those who have joined us on YouTube Live, and ICSI along with MEPSC. Welcome everyone on this webinar of education, educators, teachers, mental wellness. And here we are meeting the trainers of MEPSC Sector Skill Council. And we are very happy and proud to invite all the guest speakers. Before I'll get towards our speaker panelists, let's just see a few slides of ICSI. Let's just once again get to know about the journey of ICSI and how we are going ahead with all your contribution, your love, your affection, and your suggestions that keep us motivated every time. So we'll begin with the important thing of the day. And I'm very glad to share that today is the National Civil Service Day. This day is dedicated to civil services and all the people, those who are into Indian civil services. And this is the day where we can once again take a pledge to serve our nation, to the citizens of India in the best manner that we can. And this by 21st April only is being known as National Civil Service Day, because on this particular day, first of all, our then Home Minister in 1947, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel ji, the Iron Man of India, he addressed the probationers of civil services, and he told them that all the people, those who are into the Indian civil services, they are actually the steel frame of India. Those not only serving, but also setting an example in front of everyone. So each year when this day falls, we have to pledge once again that whatever we have taken our duty as a civil service officer, we have to take care of that duty and that service to the nation. And I also want that such kind of an oath and such kind of thing it is not there for the teaching and the educators, but it should be there. And if it is not there, even then at the National Teachers Day, when we celebrate it on 5th of September, each teacher, each trainer, each counselor, each educator should also pledge the same for the education, for the youth, and for the nation. Along with that, today is also World Creativity and Innovation Day. Wow, Civil Service Day with creativity and innovation. 21st April, one of the remarkable days that has been called as creativity and innovation. And this is our creativity and innovation, that everything that we are seeing is growing and developing. This is due to the creativity and innovation that we have. So keep identifying your creativity and don't press it inside you. Don't suppress it inside you. Just take it out and just make something innovative out of it that you can also be happy for, and entire world, entire community, entire humanity should feel proud of. So ICSI welcome everyone, and we are proudly saying this, that we are the link between India and over 31 million overseas Indian. And when I'm saying 31 million overseas Indian, that means we believe in global family. We are a global family where the like-minded people, the intellectual people, the educator community, and all the people, those who wants to serve their nation, the humanity, can contribute. And as I'm saying that the entire globe for services is very broad. And in that, when we talk about education, so education is the primer focus for every service. So together we are making education relevant through our webinars, through our discussions, through our conferences, confluences, and that's we are pledged for. And we are thankful to management and entrepreneur Professional Skill Council, and especially to Colonel Anil Kumar Pokhriyal ji, whose association, whose dedication, sincerity towards this particular arena when we talk about entrepreneurship and professionalism and skills development, has created an environment which have given a platform to thousands and thousands of people, those who are getting training and getting a kind of a vision towards startups, towards entrepreneurship, and to develop their own self in a very confident manner. So we are thankful to MEPSC. ICSI, as I told, we are the International Chamber for Service Industry, and our main focus is service industry. I want to say that it may be considered as a tertiary sector, but at this is one of the key area of the society which can contribute a lot towards entrepreneurship, towards startups, towards education, and towards each and every thing. An ICSI action plan is this trio: education, skills, MSME, entrepreneurship and employment, shiksha, kaushalta, udyamita. If we want to contribute towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. So education and all the components related with education is very, very important to contribute towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. And we are proud that our visionary Director General, sir, has way back in 1994 started the first finishing school for service industry, where he dedicated the entire concept, the entire finishing school towards skills development, and not just one component of skills, but the entire different types of skills. When we say somebody is telling there are the 200 kinds of a skill, there can be 500 kind of a skill, there can be lot many skills, but to inculcate those things into an individual and making him the platform ready for the industry, that is main important thing. And in that comes the technical skills, in that comes the soft skills, and in that comes the life management skills. And we don't need to have a stressful life. We have to a life and an education which is full of entertainment, which is full of fun, which is full of relaxed happiness and humor. That's what the vision is. And we are proud that we have trained so many youth and educators through our finishing school for global family. And then we received something which have shaken the entire world, and that is the pandemic. And we have seen lockdown, which we haven't ever seen. Only this generation has seen such kind of a thing. But the good thing has also happened in this particular phase. It is not just bad, but it is a good phase with like the technological development. There are a lot many adaptations, there are a lot many collaborations that has happened. So we have started our series from 25th May 2020, and we have reached to so many webinars on different topics and themes under the broader umbrella of making education relevant. So that may include mental wellness, physical wellness, and we have tried to rise in this particular field and to understand the mental setup of everyone, and especially the education sector. And that's why we totally focus towards education, and we believe that service industry and all the components along with education can contribute towards that. And we are thankful to Indian government that we have gained our national education policy also during this time period. I'm saying that pandemic has been very positive for many people. We have to look towards everything has a positive and negative side. We always have to look towards the positive side. So we are grateful to the government also for this. And along with the education policy that we have received, we are also proud that, well, I have talked about the trio of the scenario which can make Atmanirbhar Bharat possible is education, skills, and MSME. So education and skills, all the sector skill council, we have around about 37 sector skill councils in India, which is under the Ministry of Skills Development and Entrepreneurship. And this is the beauty of these sector skill councils, that they are into different fields. They are focusing on to different areas, and according to your choice, you can choose your sector skill council. You can get the training, and you can start your own business, your own setup, your own startup, your own entrepreneurship concept. So this is the beauty of this particular thing. And we are also very closely working with 3 of the sector skill council. And also with this, we have seen that our finishing school concept should not be missed during the pandemic times, during the lockdown. So we converted our finishing school concept into digital concept, and we made it digitally as eGurukul Inspirational Lab. So Inspirational Lab concept is there. We are still giving the trainings. We are still focusing on skills development for youth and trainers and teachers in a very innovative way that should not be theoretical, but more practical and more innovative and more collaborative and more connecting. So education should be relevant to our day-to-day life and happy living. And the main crux of everything, why not this should be added to education? Why not this should be added to the education? So it becomes relevant. But the entire crux of this thing is when we make our education ecosystem with these things, the only thing that we receive at the end is the mental happiness of the child, the mental happiness of the youth, the mental happiness of the educator. And that is more important, because there is no price tag for mental happiness. And we have to learn this, that we have to move towards back to basic. When I'm saying back to basic, that means we have to move back towards our nature, because nature, there is no substitute towards nature. We have to be nature friendly. We have to be eco-friendly. We have to live with harmony in nature. And as I was telling, that we have started it from 25th March 2020, and we have completed till yesterday 1542 webinars, and today is our 1543 webinar. So whosoever, and this is the beauty of our YouTube channel ICSI, on which people are joining us, they are watching us, they are interacting with us, they are giving their warm wishes, good wishes to us, their loves and their suggestions to us. So keep doing that. And those who have not yet subscribed our channel, please subscribe it and give your views in the live chat box. Okay, so with this, my most favorite quote to quote here is, whatsoever your mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. It is just, you have to click that and you have to believe on that. Mind you, if you believe that, leave everyone. अगर आपको कोई ये भी कहे ना कि नहीं तुम ऐसा सोच रहे हो, तुम ऐसा नहीं कर पाओगे, तो छोड़ देना. अगर आपका मन वो चीज कह रहा है, if you believe in yourself, तो वो चीज होके रहेगी. तो ये सिर्फ एक कोट नहीं है, ये एक बिलीफ सिस्टम है, ये एक ऐसे पॉजिटिव मैसेज है जो शायद आज जितने पढ़ने वाले हैं, आप इसे रोज पढ़ते होंगे जब हमारा लाइव जाता है, पर हमारा मकसद इसे बताने का रोज यही है कि शायद किसी दिन पढ़ के आपको कोई चीज क्लिक कर जाए और आप उसी दिन से सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड हो जाएं, पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड गेन कर लें, तो हमारे इन वेबिनार्स का मकसद जो है वो फुलफिल हो जाएगा. सो लेट्स कम टुगेदर मेकिंग एजुकेशन एंड स्किल्स रेलेवेंट. Keep writing to us. That's why we have given here our email ID and our WhatsApp number. Your suggestions are most valuable to us. So keep posting that, keep writing to us, and together we have to make education relevant. And before inviting my guest speakers for today, I would like to say that we learn रीडिंग छोड़ दीजिए, हियरिंग छोड़ दीजिए, सीइंग छोड़ दीजिए, डिस्कशन छोड़ दीजिए. अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिसर्च, हम सबसे ज्यादा तब लर्न करते हैं जब हम दूसरों को पढ़ाते हैं या समझाते हैं या सिखाते हैं, क्योंकि दूसरों को समझाने के लिए पहले हमें कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर करने हैं, और जब हम खुद के कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर करेंगे तो वो चीज हमेशा हमेशा हमारे साथ रहेगी. सो टीचर्स, एजुकेटर्स से बड़ा कोई प्रोफेशन नहीं है. ट्रेनर्स, काउंसलर्स, ये पूरे एजुकेशन इकोसिस्टम में जो लोग हैं, हर एक प्रोफेशन अपने आप में वैल्यूएबल है, बट और आप किसी भी प्रोफेशन में ले लीजिए, आपको टीच तो करना ही पड़ता है। आप चाहे एक बिजनेस में सीईओ क्यों ना हो, पर अपनी टीम को भी चीजें सिखाने के लिए यू हैव टू फर्स्ट लर्न दैट, एंड देन आप अपनी जो टीम है उसको अच्छे से समझा पाएंगे। आप अगर एक डॉक्टर हैं और आप अपने इंटर्न्स को सिखा रहे हैं, तो उसको कराने के लिए भी पहले आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी, आपको उसमें एक्सेल करना पड़ेगा, तब आप कर पाएंगे। सो मैक्सिमम ये है। सो लेट्स कम टुगेदर एंड यूनाइट फॉर एजुकेशन, स्किल्स, स्टार्टअप्स एंड मेंटल वेलनेस, एंड पुट योर हैंड्स टुगेदर to invite our guest speakers for today, Dr. Sonal Bhatt, Associate Professor, Sardar Patel, University, Gujarat; Dr. Jnaneshwar Pai Maroor, Assistant Professor, N.M.A.M Institute of Technology, NITTE, Karnataka; and Madam Smita Shyamsunder Khatri ji, Assistant Professor, Anekant Institute of Management Studies, Maharashtra. Without wasting any time, I'm just stopped sharing my slides and I'm welcoming all my guest speakers. A very warm welcome from ICSI, MEPSC, and all our viewers. Good evening to all of you. With this, I would like to first invite Dr. Sonal Bhatt ji to please give her a brief introduction and just introduce with her topic. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Chitra ji. Good evening, and thank you so much for inviting me. Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am.
So, yes. So I am Dr. Sonal Bhatt. I am working in Sardar Patel University, Gujarat, and I am teaching economics here for the past around 20 years. If I tell you something about my research interest, I'm basically more into natural resources economics, economics of energy, economics, and all gender economics, and many other developmental issues that come up. I am also very much into public finance, finance issues, state as well as central. So those are my core areas. Of late, I have also been interested in financial literacy as a topic, not only for teaching and research, but also as something that I would like to take up as a skill delivery topic, because that is what I started with learning that there is a huge gap as far as financial literacy is concerned. So then I began reading on the topic, and that's how I have come to do some decent work in this topic as well. So even today, I have selected the same topic, financial literacy, an essential skill. That is what I'm going to talk to you about today. Let us first, since I am an academic, I am used to going in a certain method. So I will first define the concept for you. So financial literacy is a combination of awareness, knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behavior. Okay, it is a combination of awareness, knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behavior. And all this helps you to get the ability to make financial decisions on your own, so that you can achieve your own financial well-being. So this is a composite. As you can see, it's a composite mixture of various kinds of things. And ultimately, it will make you independent enough to know what is good and what is not good for your own financial health, for your own monetary wellness. Like you have physical and mental wellness, there's also something like monetary wellness. Your economic future needs to be also secure, and your economic health also needs to be assured. So that is what we are going to talk about. Now, what are the dimensions, or rather you can say components of financial literacy? We have already named them, but we can say that we can divide them into three parts: knowledge or awareness. Then after you are having a knowledge, then it's about behavior, whether you put your knowledge into practice. So that's about behavior. And the third thing is your attitudes, your mental attitude, or how you treat money, how you see various monetary financial issues. So these three dimensions, knowledge, behavior, and attitudes, they make up financial literacy for you. Now, I would like to point out that there are many numerous studies have shown that there is no great high correlation of financial literacy and education. Normally, we tend to assume that the more educated people are, they would be more financially literate. Their financial awareness, knowledge, behavior, etc., would be more, enlightened. That unfortunately is not true. Even if people are educated enough, they are able to read the facts and figures, but they don't understand. You know, so even if you are very well educated, you may be really financially illiterate, and you may require other people's help to take care of your own financial affairs, your own money, so to speak. So education has got nothing. So there's something totally different, which we need to now address in a different way, because education doesn't make you financially literate. So in order to become financially literate, you need to take some other route, Okay. What do you mean by knowledge? Knowledge is, of course, the ability to follow news, financial trends, to follow facts and figures, headlines which keep on coming, to make comparisons between various products, to make simple arithmetic or some simple statistical calculations, just averages or percentages and such things. So that is about knowledge. Now, what about behavior? A financially literate person will show a very enlightened behavior in terms of his saving and his spending, his purchasing, his payments and repayments of loans, purchasing of various and comparing the various purchases, comparing prices, for example, investments in various products. How does he borrow? From whom does he borrow? Whether he is able to compare the interest rates, right? What is, I mean, in fact, the most important change in a behavior of a financially illiterate person is his or her ability to differentiate between his needs and desires. You understand me? There are some needs which are basic, which you have to they have to be fulfilled. But there are some of them which are desires. So are you able to differentiate, or you become carried away? So that is a very important sign of a financially mature, financially literate individual. Third component is the attitudes which are related to financing, which is, if you are a person, say, which is inclined towards impulsive buying or postponement of savings or postponement of repayment of your loans, if you don't pay your credit card bills in time, for example, uh, you tend to live beyond your means, purchase too much, waste, pile up things which are of no use really. So you're not able to understand the risk. You cannot make a proper comparison between risks and reward, right? Either you take too much risk, or you are lured by too much reward. You are lured too much by reward rather than considering that the risks are also involved. So that risk versus reward balance you are not able to see. That again means that you are not financially literate, even though you may be having multiple degrees in your education, but that doesn't make you financially literate, right? Financial literacy in India is in a very poor state, even though we are having a general literacy is of about 74%, up to three-fourths of our population is literate. But the National Council of Financial Education says that only 27% of Indians are financially literate. And as far as women are concerned, that is even worse. Only 20% of Indian women are financially literate. So it is a very sorry state of affairs. Even if you are able to read and write, but still you don't understand what is good for you and what is not, as far as your financial health is concerned. So that's something very, very much of a concern. Now, how can we contribute in improving this state of affairs? What is our role as skill trainers or teachers in the classroom even? So again, the National Council for Financial Education has given a 5-point strategy, and that, in fact, I'm going to tell you because on the whole, it sums up the entire plan of action that we can take. So what are this 5 C's approach? What is it saying? First of the C is content. So as teachers, our role will be to create content for various categories of people, for various classes of people, people with various financial needs. For example, financial literacy for students, young students, school students or college students. Like, for example, what would you expect if you have a 10th class student in a 10th class? Then you would expect that this student, this boy or girl, should be able to write a check, or understand the difference between a demand draft and a check, or should be able to make a money order, or should be able to calculate the discount percentage. So a student, a young adult, a college student, a new employee, the person who has just joined a job. So he needs to then be told that, okay, now he should start saving now that he has got his own independent income. So a young employee, a self-employed person versus a salaried person, a housewife. In fact, housewives, we tend to ignore this category, but they are the ones who are most in need of financial literacy, not only because they do most of the purchases in their house, but also because if a housewife is not earning, then it is even more important for her to think and to try and secure her own financial future. In case something happens to her, she would be literate enough to be able to understand and secure her financial future and that of her children. So students, young adults, employed people, self-employed, housewives, senior citizens, disabled people, and those people who are illiterate, those who cannot read and write, even they require financial literacy. They also need to understand the value of money and how to manage their money, because they also make transactions. So content for all these different classes, and these all, as you can understand, the content for all these people is going to be different. You can't have the same book for everybody. So we need to create contents for all these classes, keeping in mind their particular needs and also their different abilities to grasp the content. The second C is that of capacity. So here we are saying that we need to develop and equip financial intermediaries and service providers who provide various financial services. In fact, this is the path towards financial inclusion also. When we're talking about inclusion, how would we include a large section of our society? Naturally, we would want lots of service providers. Like, for example, the commercial banks these days, they have got something called banking correspondent, if you're aware. So a banking correspondent is a person who he's basically a village resident, some remote village where a bank branch is not available, or the bank cannot they cannot afford to open a full-fledged branch in that village. So they appoint a banking correspondent who is the bank's representative in that area, and he or she will do all the banking transactions with customers on behalf of the bank in that village, so that people don't have to go to the bank branch, which may be far away. So now this banking correspondent and his customers as well, they also need to be equipped and educated about their responsibility, their various financial concepts, how do they protect themselves, how do they deal with various transactions, what do various terms and conditions, all those fine prints, what does it all mean, what you should take care, what is not. So financial inclusion doesn't come just like that. We need to have an army of financial intermediaries. And these intermediaries, in turn, have to be educated. They have to be first financially literate, and then they would, work towards inclusion. right? So this capacity building of financial intermediaries is also our job. That skills also need to be provided to this uh, category of people, the intermediaries. Also, we need to develop a code of conduct, that of professional ethics for these financial intermediaries, so that ultimately we will see that everybody, it's a transparent and efficient financial service sector, and as much as possible we can avoid fraud and make everybody follow the ethical code of conduct. So that also is part of literacy, to make people aware as to what is a fraud and how to avoid it, and how not to do it. I mean, how not to fall prey, or how not to engage in such a thing. So that also is part of the capacity building. Third C is about the community. So this is about involving the entire community at large, so that financial literacy remains sorry, everybody's business instead of the business of a few people. Like, because now this is why this is so important, because somehow we feel that financing is something that I don't want to even think about, because I am not equipped. I don't know what it is. You know, जब हमारे घर में कुछ होता है तो कुछ फाइनेंस का कुछ कागज आता है तो हम किसको देते हैं? हमारे घर में जो एक पुरुष जो सभ्य है उनको देते, ये देखो ना तुम क्या है, मुझे नहीं पता, मुझे देखना भी नहीं, मुझे जानना भी नहीं, right? So that kind of a aloofness, or what you can say is, I mean, total disinterest in financial affairs, that needs to go, and we need to be involved in financial decision making of our own. At least we should be responsible for our own money, if not others. So that when that spreads, then it becomes community involvement at large. So that is what is meant by community. Fourth C, the number 4C is communication. So of course, communication has become much easier now, as Chitraji was saying. Lots of information and communication technology is available. There's also mass media, print media, digital. Sab ho gaya. So there's lots of communication has become easier, but all the same, what you communicate is still what we have to do. That is again our role, the educator's role, as to develop content for communicating, and so and develop the content in such a way that the communication would be easily reachable. It would actually reach the person whom we are trying to communicate with. So content in say vernacular language, communication by way of maybe pictures, or maybe comic books, visual kind of aids, games for children, school children, students, quizzes, dramas, jingles, the small jingles, songs. That also can be a medium of financial literacy. So all those we need to explore, so that the language barrier goes, the knowledge barrier also goes, the geographical barrier goes, and you can actually engage people and make them understand in a simple manner as to what you want to tell them. So that is about communications. And the fifth C is what we call collaboration. So financial literacy is a collaboration. If you want to improve our percentage of financially literate people, like from 27% आपको 74% पहुंचना है, या hopefully 100% पहुंचना है. So there should be a collaboration between all. Everyone possible should be involved, be it schools, be it colleges, higher education institutions, banks, insurance companies, government agencies, news, media, mass media. Everybody should be collaborating. Everybody should make it their business to turn Indians into more financially aware individuals. If you look at traditionally, Indians are supposed to be very wise. We are not all stupid people, even though we are not, a great part of our population is not well educated. Certainly we have lots of age-old wisdom. So saving and recycling things and not showing off too much and being little conservative in our approach, in our expenditure, all that comes to us by way of our cultural traditions. Are we are like that. I mean, we don't really. For example, the consumerist boom is not a characteristic of the Indian market. It is a characteristic of the American market. So traditionally, we have been wise in terms of money, but that age-old wisdom is, of course, there. Sometimes we feel that we are also now losing it a bit, especially the younger generation, because now they are trying to ape the West and aping the consumer trends of Western countries. So even that age-old wisdom we are losing in a way, and the new skills, डिजिटल स्किल्स आप गूगल पे तो चलाना सीख गए दैट्स ओके बट अगर आपके पास कोई कॉल आती है आती है अगर कोई फ्रॉडस्टर की तो आपको समझ में आता है और आप उसका मुकाबला करने के लिए तैयार हैं या आपको समझ में आता है कि आपकी सेविंग्स करनी है क्या करना है या तो आप परचेज करने जाते हैं तो आप कंपेयर कर सकते हैं 15 चीजों को है ना जब आप ब्रेड खरीदने जाते हैं तो 3-4 ब्रांड की ब्रेड होती है हर एक की प्राइस अलग है परंतु हर एक में वजन भी अलग अलग है ओके कंटेंट्स भी अलग अलग हैं तो क्या आप उसकी कंपैरिजन कर सकते हैं और आप सही निर्णय ले सकते हैं अपने अपने परचेजिंग के बारे में तो ये सब आपको अभी हमको सीखना है सो इट्स नॉट ओनली अबाउट गेटिंग गुड डिग्रीज बट ऑल्सो बीइंग able to independently think about our own financial well-being and securing our financial well-being. So, and as I said, we seriously lack in that, and therefore there is a wide open area, lot of work to be done, and we educators, teachers especially, school teachers and even college teachers, and so many other intermediaries, they all have a very big role to play in increasing financial literacy skills. And financial literacy is a precursor to financial inclusion. अगर आपका अकाउंट खुल जाता है अकाउंट खोल दिया जनधन योजना में आपका अकाउंट खोल दिया परंतु आपको अकाउंट चलाना नहीं आता आपको पासबुक क्या है समझ में नहीं आता आपको अपना एटीएम कार्ड में से पैसे विड्रॉ करना अगर आपको नहीं आता तो वो इंक्लूजन का कोई अर्थ नहीं है सो फाइनेंशियल inclusion is has to be it has to be preceded by financial literacy and that is where our role comes in so definitely we should all try to see how we can contribute in terms of content creation and also communication of delivery of the message of financial literacy among whoever is whoever are our audience, our students or our clients or whoever it is. So with that, I would like to thank you so much.
Thank you. The topic that you have raised today is very important and very interesting, and the way you have explained everything, like you've explained each and everything. In fact, I want to tell the questions that are coming in my mind that I will ask this question from ma'am, and the second line of yours will be the answer of that question. So you have explained everything in a very, very positive and explainable, simple manner. Still, I'll come to you at the end to ask few questions, but thank you very much for raising this topic, ma'am. I now move towards Madam Smita ji, and I request her to unmute her mic and please introduce her and her topic. Ma'am, unmute your mic, please.
Yes, ma'am. It's unmuted. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor and a great pleasure to be a panel member for today's webinar organized by MEPSC and ICSI. I think MEPSC is doing a great job. It's a great initiative by bringing this topic for discussion, that means education, skills, trainers, and mental wellness. And we have been asked to talk on this topic. We have been asked to talk on what is the relevance of education and skills in today's world. What is the gap? What can be done to bridge this gap? So I think topic is one, but the speakers are many. Earlier, the question came to my mind that uh, given this one topic about education and skill, what all these different people they are going to bring in here. But uh, the speakers who are here, to whom we have listened for past few days, I think I have been listening to them, and it's a great experience, learning experience. Uh, Everybody brings their own ideas, everybody brings their solutions and their life experiences, everybody brings something different to the table. And I think this difference that everybody brings in here, I think that is a great learning opportunity, at least for me, I can say. So with this, I would like to introduce myself. I am Smita Khatri. I'm an assistant professor at Anekant Institute of Management Studies, Baramati, which is a taluka place in Pune district, Maharashtra. And I'm pursuing my PhD with a similar kind of topic that we are going to deal today, that is related with education. So my PhD topic is also related with the higher educational institutions that are affiliated to Pune University, as my institute is affiliated to Pune University. So that gives me even more interest to talk that whatever I am pursuing in my PhD, maybe a little bit I can contribute here as a panel member. So let's begin with it. To begin with, I should say that by and large, we all know that India, our nation, when it comes to leadership, it does not top the list. But though we all are very much aware of this fact that India, our nation, it is having a potential to be an impact nation, to create an impact. Now, whenever we are talking about creating an impact, we say that to create this impact, we need to invest. So the question may come in our mind like, investment in what? Impact, how we can bring this impact. Okay, so this investment, to get the right kind of impact, we can have by having the right education and skills. I said right education just because of this fact that if we are getting an education where a student is not able to get any employment, I think at the end of the day, everybody thinks of the employment. And this is what all the parents, they teach there, or they try to make their kid, or they may try to make the word understand that at the end of the day, you have to be employable. You have to earn. No matter what skills you are acquiring, you have to have the degree that the industry is expecting and that the corporates are really looking for. But really, are we really going to look for only education only in the form of degree? Is this what really industries are looking for in today's world? I guess that is not. And this is where really we need to understand the difference that lies between education and skill. Um, I myself am a teacher for past 14 years. I'm having 14 years of teaching experience. And what I try to generally do in my class is I try to simplify the theoretical concepts which are really considered as boring by the students. So I try to simplify those theoretical concepts. I try to make them understand those concepts in a very, very simpler manner. To begin with, I'll make a difference of education and skills. Education is, we can say, is something when you know the problem. And skills is something we say when you know how to fix the problem. Okay. Say for an example, you are getting a degree. You're getting a degree for what? You're getting a degree because you want to know your competency. You want to know where you stand. And skills is completely opposite to it. It is not only talking about the competency, but it is all about doing your job well. And not only that, but doing your job so well that nobody else can do it. Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am, you are perfectly audible. We are listening to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So the skills is doing your job well. That is what I was talking about. And you should be so perfect in doing that job that it should be such that when it comes to any problem, it should be only you who can fix that problem. So I think you are getting an education when you really know the problem, what the problem is, and the skills is you should know how should you fix the problem. Like students these days, now they are facing the problem of communication. They do not know how to communicate, be it their native language, be it their regional language, but they are facing that problem. Now, if at all they understand that this is the problem of communication where I am stuck in and I have to get out of it. So, what I need to do? I need to have some of the skills. I need to fix this problem of communication that I'm encountering. So, to fix this problem, I need to find the sources by which I can enhance my communication skill. If at all I'm able to fix this problem, then I think I have acquired the desired skill. If we look at the statistical figures of employment, I think India skills report, it states that it claims that 46% of students from the educational institutions, they are only employable. Means only 46% of the students, they are employable. What about the rest? Why they are not getting employable? Why they are not getting employment? Why they are not earning as good as their friends? So this is the question. Now, to address this, what is actually required is some of them requires upskilling. Maybe some of them may require upskilling, whereas some of them may require reskilling. Upskilling and reskilling, this really comes very different. Upskilling is for those who really maybe are new to the job. They do not have the desired skills which are expected. And reskilling means you have got the desired skills, you have got the expected skills, but you need to upgrade them. You need to have additional skills. That is called as reskilling. Now, I am into a sector which falls in the management field. And for management field, basically MBA, the students who are coming for this field, they come from diverse backgrounds. The students are from arts, students are from commerce, students are from science, students come from engineering background, they come from pharmacy background. So the different backgrounds that these students come in, I really feel that this difference or this diversity in the class, it really brings more knowledge also in the class. I think all the students in the class, they can learn from each other. They can share their knowledge. They can share whatever knowledge they have acquired over the past years in their class with their friends in the class, with their classmates. They can have that. So if at all we are having a competency, and if we are sharing our competency, I think then we are into right space. These days, if we see all the students, they are having, I think, means this is my belief, this is my understanding, what I see in my class. It is the students' mindset that we need not have to think anything. Google is there for all. Google is the answer for all. So this critical thinking aspect, or even the simpler calculations that we need to make in the class, even for that purpose, we will find the students are making or finding the solutions on Google. Why are not they investing their time? Why are not they investing their energy in analyzing the problem and finding a solution to it? So this is really a very, very serious problem. For every answer, for every problem, we are just running, we are just rushing to Google. Google, please come for our rescue. Please come for our help and get this problem resolved. I think today's generation, they need to really think, they really need to rethink on this aspect that the world is changing. It is not the same as before. And I think what we have undergone in the last, still we are undergoing the same, what we have faced the pandemic, I think it has posed colossal challenges in front of everyone. And that is why it becomes imperative for each one of us to really adapt to it and work according to it and act to it. For this purpose, it should be understood that merely getting yourself educated is not going to help you. Mere education, when you are stuck in a problem, okay, suppose if you are lost in a forest, you are not going to have your degree in your hand and you're not going to get your path. You have to find it on your own. You have to get your way through it on your own. Nobody's going to be there for your help. You have to do it on your own. So for that, what one must need is acquire those necessary skills. Those are required especially in adverse situations. We are only talking about employment. We are only talking about earning our bread and butter. But are we really talking about the skills that we really need during these adverse situations? So I would like to bring here a point which was highlighted in one of the interviews by the ex-CEO of PepsiCo, that means Indra Nooyi. She said the development of hip pocket skills is very important. She meant it that one must develop one skill, at least one skill in which you're very good, very good. And when in the corporate world a problem is there, people or your team should only come running to you to fix that problem. That is called as hip pocket skill. Does not necessarily mean acquiring of hard skill, but it means acquisition of a skill which is very, very unique to yourself. Now, this skill certainly can be acquired only when we can have competency. One must have the competency to develop this hip pocket skill. I think this is the wonderful development skill that I have really learned from her. And I think we should really excel in it. But for that purpose, we should understand first in which skill we are good at. So for that purpose, we really need to understand our strength. We need to understand uh, which is our USP. What is our USP? Okay, in marketing language, for a layman to understand, I can tell that USP stands for actually unique selling proposition. But in individual terms, in general terms, if we have to take, here USP stands means what makes an individual unique. What is that different thing in you which is lacking in the rest? So you to make yourself really prominent in the crowd, I think you need to develop hip pocket skill. So you can have the right education also, and by acquiring the right kind of skill, I think you can rule, though not the world, but certainly your area where you are working. What I observed is during the pandemic, I would like to emphasize on this fact of pandemic that uh, everywhere we are talking and we are listening about digitization, we are listening about the digital everywhere. Every time, more often, we are uh, forced to sit in front of the laptops, we are forced to sit in front of the mobiles or the other devices, technical devices, and we have to perform in that manner. Because these days, what I can really understand is digital skills are, means I really feel digital skills are becoming ubiquitous. You cannot survive without having the knowledge to really use a digital platform or really excel in your field. So to have that kind of excellence, I think digital skills are very, very essential these days. If we take example of pandemic, I think in the pandemic when we were not in the classrooms, We all were connected through a digital platform. Had not there been digital skills acquired by the teachers or by the learners, I think that would have been really impossible to really have that kind of sharing and understanding during the classrooms. So, digital skills in today's world, be it your business, be it teaching, learning, be it corporate, everywhere, one must see that the digital skills are required. They have become imperative, I should say that. Now, with this, we can say, um, as I have mentioned, that this pandemic has taught us a lot. We have learned a lot also. We have lost a lot also during this pandemic. And what learning we can take is that, as I mentioned earlier, about the adversity, the learning of the skills during the adverse situation, it is the adaptive nature of an individual. We must have adaptive skills in us. I think in classrooms, in the institutions, what I have seen in the students is that they lack these adaptive skills. They are not really ready to adapt the new system. They just want everything to be easy. Now, if we talk about blending education and skills, I think if I would not means if I am not talking about the educational institutions and the quality of the educational institutions, I think that would be really unfair. So I would like to highlight a point here that it is the quality educational institutions that can really make a good product. That means the customers. But here, what we are doing, we are just blaming one another. We are just holding one another responsible. So I think that we should stop this blame game. I think everybody is responsible. I think the students also must know what is changing around them, and so they also should try to adopt the skills, as I have mentioned, be it the hip pocket skills, be it the digital skills, be it the adaptive skills, or maybe n number of the other skills are also there. So I think rather than blaming one another, we should stop this blame game, and we should consider ourselves responsible if we are not fit in the market. So whatever the studies are saying, whatever the statistics are saying, that by 2030, the occupations are going to really change. So there is a really need to reskill and there is a need to upskill. I think keeping this everything aside, if everybody is knowing their job, what is their job, and how to do that job the best, I think that can be the real solution for the problem that we are facing in the education field. This is all from my side. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be a panel member and express my views. Thank you.
Thank you for your informative and very uh, educative talk, and well taken your point. Now we straight away move to Dr. Jnaneshwar Pai Maroor ji. And sir, thank you for your patient hearing, patient listening to our viewers, to both the panelists. Now we straight away move to you.
Good evening, everybody. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Yes. So to just give a brief introduction about myself, my name is Dr. Jnaneshwar Pai Maroor. I hold triple masters, masters in personal management, industrial relations, MBA finance, MPhil, and PhD in management. I've qualified the Karnataka SET state eligibility test in management in 2013. I have over 18 years of teaching, industry teaching and research experience. I started my journey as a lecturer at SDM College in Mangalore, and then I moved to industry. Sounds a little weird. I moved to industry. I was there for 6 years. I was with JP Morgan Chase Bank. I was a hardcore investment banker, and I went to US. I was there in US for a year, and I transitioned end-to-end process from New York to Bengaluru in 2011. In 2012, I left industry and joined teaching. I started my journey, but then in 2012 in the Justice KSA Institute of Management, where I was teaching finance taxation for MBA students. And then in 2021, August, I shifted to N.M.A.M Institute of Technology, which is part of the same NITTE family, where right now I'm the alumni coordinator and I teach management for the engineering, M.Tech and doctoral students. My research area is corporate finance, soft skills development, research, risk management and corporate taxation. I tell that I'm not a teacher, I don't teach, but in fact, I'm a facilitator and I'm a trainer. So just to tell some of the things that I've done in this particular year, 2022 has been really good with regard to my training journey. Till date, I've conducted 32 skill development training programs for teachers and the students. Let me share the latest one which I did. Yeah. So this was the training which we conducted in the month of March, where we conducted a training program for titled Skills Required by the New Age Teachers. This is very much needed for all of us right now. And I trained teachers on communication and presentation skills. And this was something which was liked by the teacher community. This was a 5 days faculty development program that was organized by our NITTE Bangalore campus. Now, what is in the pipeline? As I told, I have conducted 32 programs, and this was one of such program. And I have a training program scheduled on 23rd, that is upcoming, the coming Saturday, on student enrichment program, skill development for career excellence. This is one of my area of interest on corporate expectation and skill development. So this is what I've been talking from Jan 2022 to larger audience management and commerce students. Now, another thing which I want to get this in my platform today is we in the Department of Humanities have been giving a lot of importance to skill development. And on 29th and 30th of this month, we are intending to conduct a webinar on enhancing employability skills for the future, and I have been the coordinator for this program. We are having 2 renowned people from US as well for this particular webinar. So there is no registration fees for this. Now, coming to the topic for discussion today, I would be talking about how to crack a group discussion, the do's and the misdemeanors, which I conducted for 6 batches of engineering students. So this is the glimpse of my training program, which I did for my students. And you can very well see, I trained over 1,200 students in 6 batches. And these are the glimpse of my training programs. And I will be talking about a glimpse of what I spoke as a part of the group discussions and the do's and the misdemeanors. Because many a times when we talk to the students as to what are the campus placement rounds, they know that there is a technical aptitude round. They are very well prepared for that. The second round is group discussion. This is the place where our past statistics, what we did was we checked our past 4 years records of campus placement rounds, and we really wanted to know what is causing our students not getting through the campus placement round. And we found that many students were losing in the group discussions. Technical rounds, they were very good. HR round also to some extent they were good, but GD was a big matter of concern. And if you see in terms of research, 30% of weightage, 30 to 35% of weightage is usually given by the corporates for the group discussion. So that means if a student is not prepared, he does not know what is really getting tested, that means 30 to 35% possibility is there that he would get rejected in the before getting into the round 3 itself. So that's the reason we thought we should enlighten students on what exactly is getting tested in the group discussion. So as a matter of fact, I made it very clear to the students that discussion is an exchange of knowledge. An argument is an exchange of ignorance. This is a beautiful quote by Robert Killer. Now he says very clearly that discussion is exchange of knowledge. So many a time students think that in a group discussion, they are supposed to argue. You don't know the difference between argument versus discussion. So I make it clear that it is knowledge versus ignorance. And whenever it is group discussion, we have a set parameter. That means a group discussion cannot exceed more than 12 members. So 8 is the member which is expected, and 12 is the maximum number. So if the number crosses 12, then in that case it is not group discussion, but it is a fish market. And the minimum duration of a group discussion is 15 minutes, but could go up to 20 minutes or 45 minutes also. As a part of this, the modus operandi is something which our students need to be enlightened on. The entire process of group discussion starts with the announcement of topic. Who does it? It is done by the HR partner. The second process is the preparation time. So many a times our students don't know that usually 3 to 5 minutes is given for preparation time. So what is to be done during the preparation time is not clear. So I tell my students to carry a scribbling pad to the group discussion, and do not carry your mobile phones, because mobile phones are not allowed. A pen and a scribbling pad is a must when it comes to group discussion, and it shows very clearly to the HR that you're very serious about getting the job. So preparation time is usually given where students write down. So I tell them, make best use of this particular preparation time so that you can jot down at least 7 to 8 pointers during the preparation time. Usually what happens is students write 2 points, and by the time the group discussion starts, someone else would have repeated those 2 points and you're out of words. So that should be avoided, where you can come up with 7 to 8 points. The third step is about a lead. A lead starts the discussion. So I always tell my students, wherever possible, try to be the initiator of group discussion. If you initiate, you get an extra cookie points. And the fourth step is the GD summarization. Now, what gets tested in a group discussion is the multitasking skills. So then comes the question, sir, should I just talk? I say, yes, you have to talk. It's a group discussion. Should I listen? I say, yes, you have to listen. Should I also make notes of what others are speaking? Yes, you have to, because you may be asked to summarize any point of time. So all the things are getting tested. Should I have knowledge? Yes, knowledge is the most important aspect of group discussion process. And step number 5, that is not the concern of students, that is the judgment which is done by the HR partner. So usually I tell my students, if at all you are part of these pointers in a group discussion, very, very normal. That means if someone feels that his points are invalid during the group discussion, that is a thought happens in your mind when someone is talking too much. When will I get time to speak? Right? In a group discussion, there is no moderator. So you will have to somehow enter the discussion within the first 5 minutes. I am right. So every group discussion will have one Chatur who feels that I know everything and others are all wrong. I should change my point of view because he could be right. This is another view that could come in some of the minds. I am not interested. So these are the views that happens in a group discussion. Now, what gets tested? Many a times students have been saying that, sir, I spoke very well in a campus placement interview in a group discussion, but still I got rejected. Why is that? So I tell them, there are a lot of skills that get tested, and we have made these 9 pointers based on our experience of campus placements in the last few years. The first one is the content, right? As Madam Bhatt, Dr. Bhatt told that time, your content is very, very important. What you're speaking, and I tell my students that group discussion, you are supposed, in a 15 to 20 minutes group discussion, you are supposed to speak for a maximum of 2 minutes only. I tell them a formula, that is, you have to open up 4 to 5 times, and every time you open your mouth, you are supposed to speak for 25 to 30 seconds. This really calculates to 2 minutes per student. So that means if there are, say, 10 candidates in a group discussion, everybody gets 2 minutes. So the entire group discussion would end for 20 minutes. So it is not a big deal. So if you have good amount of knowledge, you can speak for 2 minutes. It's not at all a rocket science. So this is something which we have to tell them. So don't keep on speaking. So you should know that you have to speak only for 2 minutes in the entire 20 minutes duration, not beyond that. It is 4 to 5 times, and every time you open, it is 25 to 30 seconds. Next one is communication skills. That is, your verbal as well as non-verbal skills are very, very important and gets tested in the group discussion. So how you speak verbally and how you express your non-verbal cues also. That gives a lot of indication to the HR partner. Next one is the reasoning skills. As I said earlier, when the preparation time is given, students are expected to jot down 7 to 8 points. So it is not just about jotting down points, and the most important thing is, in a group discussion, facts and statistics are very, very important. So that means your reasoning skills are very important. Many a times what happens with our students is they jot down, say, a few points, and the moment they open up, they express all their points and they do not have any points. So why I said reasoning and organizing skills here is that if you have jotted down 8 points, you should know when to shoot which point at a particular point of time. So that is the reason. At one go, all the points should not be exhausted. Next one is creativity. As I told, you would be opening 5 times in a group discussion. Every time you open up, you should contribute something new, for which creativity is very, very important. The next one is initiation. See, one of the most important skills that is getting tested in a group discussion is the leadership skills. And the leader is the one who always likes initiation. So that is the reason a group discussion, always a person who initiates gets extra cookie points. But I always also tell my students, if you do not know the topic, just shut your mouth. Just wait for others to start, understand what is happening, and then you can continue in the process. As I told earlier, leadership skills are very, very important. Many a times you have seen students asking others to speak up during the group discussion. So in a group discussion, it is none of your business to ask others to speak. If a person has not decided to speak, you can help him, but not provoke him to speak, because it might lead him to an embarrassment. So a leader will never ever let his colleagues into an embarrassing situation. The next one is flexibility. The most important difference between a group discussion and argument is that in argument, it is might is right. But in a group discussion, you can always change your stand. So I always tell my students that in the first 5 minutes of group discussion, never ever take a stand. So you will get to know that where the team is heading in terms of discussion, and later on you can always change your stand, right? So flexibility is very, very important in a group discussion. So don't take a stand in the first 5 minutes. That doesn't mean that you keep changing your stand and you may sound very, very fickle-minded. That's also not nice. Awareness. Your general knowledge is very, very important. I tell my students to keep reading newspapers and to surf and keep getting oneself updated on what's happening. Right now, the companies which have been coming for campus placement interviews have been including one of the important topic, that is on the Ukraine and Russia crisis and what is the impact on Indian economy, for which at least the few of the statistics with regard to GDP should be on the tip of one's tongue. The next one is confidence. So if you take care of the earlier 8 points, automatically confidence will fall in place. I don't have to talk about what is the important confidence. Self-confidence is important. Overconfidence will kill you. So there are a few do's and don'ts, as I would like to just brief quickly, so that I can leave it to Madam Chaitra here. So write down the group discussion topic. That's very important. The moment you start talking, you don't know where the discussion is heading. So it's always first thing, write down the topic. Always try to speak wherever possible in English, but if you have something to give a quote, then probably could use your regional languages or any other languages. Speak about any aspect of the topic. Time limit is very, very important. Divide your time equally. Every time you open up, speak for 20 to 25 to 30 seconds. Don't cross 30 seconds, because others' time is also very, very important. Try maintaining notes of what is happening, because you don't know, HR might ask you to summarize anytime. So active listening is very, very important. You should respect what others are saying and make note of it. And wherever possible, as I said, reasoning skills are very important, for which writing down, making note of facts and figures is very, very important. Never ever give wrong statistics in a group discussion. Do not criticize individuals. You could criticize the ideas. You have no right to ill-treat other individuals who are part of the discussion. And the last point which I've got here is sincerely avoid swearing on God, swearing on parents. Try avoiding domination, aggression, body language, blaming, and making personal abuse. These are the big no's in a group discussion process. I think this is what I had to say, and a big thanks to Ms. Chaitra Kapoor and the organizing team for inviting me for this particular session.
Thank you so much, sir. If you can please stop share and we can see you. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
madam.
And this is something very precise and very appropriate and very valid. Thank you so much for this presentation, sir. And we want to congratulate for all the conferences and the seminars that you have organized and you have conducted and you are going to conduct. So all the best for that also. And now may I invite all three of my panelists so that I can ask a few questions and then we can probably say goodbye for today. So thank you so much. First of all, my question will start from Dr. Jnaneshwar ji himself. So
Yes,
as we have seen in your profile that you have worked with the corporate also. So
yes.
I just want to understand, working in a corporate environment and learning the corporate skill, how it helps in being a trainer in institutes and higher education, how it helps. And because nowadays UGC is also saying that the people from industry should be incorporated into higher education arena. So what is your opinion about it?
I do not know about other domains, but I think anybody who's teaching management and alien subject, I think he or she must come from corporate experience, or you should be aligned to the corporate world. Otherwise, when someone, this is something which I've been seeing, some of my friends or colleagues who come to teaching straight from the post-graduation do not know what is happening in the outside world. So what happens is, gone are those days where students used to just accept what you are saying. But now students tend to question, so ma'am, is this, sir, is it going to be relevant to my corporate experience? Because nowadays, if you see, I'm currently teaching engineering. So whenever I start my first day, I ask students, how many of you really want to get into teaching? Not even a single hand gets raised. So I ask them, how many of you want to really pursue higher education? Very few hands gets raised. So 90% of the students are very clear. And because of pandemic, I think the percentage is rising. They want to get into industry easily. So they don't want to continue their higher education. Right. So that means they are looking for grooming themselves when they are getting educated. That means as a teacher, we have a moral responsibility to ensure that the gap between the classroom to boardroom is narrowed. For which I think if a teacher comes from industry experience, he or she will be able to make a lot of justice for his profession. This is my understanding.
Yeah, and even then you can give an updated information and updated
100%. So if in case, and one more important thing is, I may have quit industry in 2012 and I joined teaching. But still, I'm in touch with the industry professional. I'm part of various industry forums like KSIDC, Karnataka Small Industries Development Corporation, to make sure that my students get good internship opportunities. I myself visit these industries yeah, and also try to train industry professionals on communication and other soft skills as well. So because if in case I don't stay updated, I think the situation will throw me out of from teaching profession. So as a teacher, I should also, as Madam Smita was saying, I need to upgrade, upscale, reskill and upskill myself to stay relevant as a teacher. I think outdated teacher does not have any relevance in NEP 2020.
Right, sir. And we are thankful to engineering teachers like you who actually are giving valid education to the students, engineering student, which is very much required today in India as well.
Very much, very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My one more question I would like to ask you, sir. You have mentioned that you have conducted a seminar on presentation skills. So here
Yes,
you
very
would
much.
you have taught them how to make the PowerPoint presentations, or you have taught how to give the presentation?
Yeah, ma'am, one more thing I want to tell you that I'm a trained Excel trainer. I have conducted Excel training and PowerPoint making PPT advanced. Yes, yes. So I have been conducting because I come from NITTE institution, which is also having a deemed institution and a big hospital in Bangalore. So I think I've conducted around 9 batch of Excel intermediate training programs for doctors and the various nursing supervisors and all that group. And also I conducted a PowerPoint training program, how to make PowerPoint slides. It's not just surface level training, but looking into the nitty-gritties of what one needs to be mindful of when a person is doing presentation. Say, for example, follow the 10, 20, and 30 rule. That is, have a maximum of 10 slides for a maximum of, have a 10 slides for a maximum of 20 minutes presentation, and with the not less than 30 font size. So that's important. And also in terms of what one needs to be mindful of while doing PowerPoint presentation, because there is a quote which says death by PowerPoint slides. Let me recall one instance and I'll close. I'd been for a presentation in Bengaluru during my doctoral studies. And when I was doing my presentation, the moderator said that, Jnaneshwar, everything seems fine, but you have only 4 bullet points in your PowerPoint slides. You should have a lot of textual data in PowerPoint. I didn't want to argue at that particular point of time. The people, the moderators or the academicians are not educated about the difference between a Word and a PowerPoint. PowerPoint is for one to use and you are supposed to express your views. And PowerPoint is just few points. There cannot be more than 8 words in one bullet point. So he expected me to have a big text. I said, sir, then in that case, there is a report which I've submitted in the form of Word document, which is housing for 20 pages. You could have a glance of that. Though I didn't want to argue at that point of time. So we academicians need to be aware when to use Excel, when to use PowerPoint. I'm also training people on how to use MS Visio, which is primarily used for designing flow charts, epoch charts and all that, which is very much relevant for the industries.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I now move to Madam Smita ji. Ma'am, question to you is, you talked about skills and particularly in education. So if you can just appraise us, what skills do these days, you have talked about adaptive skills and you have talked about digital skills also. But to get into the employment arena, and become employable, what basic skills every youth should have, irrespective of their education field that they are studying? One thing. And the other thing is that are actually today's education fields, and especially higher education structures, do they actually using some kind of a skills development program on the regular basis to skill the youth? And what are your views on to that?
Yes, ma'am. Both questions I'll be answering. First, I'll be answering your first question, which is related with the skills that are required by the students. Ma'am, as we can see, the communication skills. See, I belong to area which is in a rural, which comes in rural part, Baramati. So every day I come across I come across the students who are coming from a rural background. So coming from a rural background, they are not aware of the skills that are really desired by the industry, what actually is required. So what they feel is that merely by getting an enrollment to an MBA degree, they are going to get the degree and they are going to get a ready job. This is what their perception is, but they fail to understand that they need to have good communication skills. They need to have the digital skills. Why I was emphasizing on digital skills? Because I come from a marketing background. My specialization is marketing. And what we see that in today's world, whether it be corporate, whether you are even having your own startup, you should have digital skills, because ultimately your customer is going to be online. These days, we are saying that everything is going online. Given this fact, it really is very, very important. It's really important for the students to learn these kind of skills. If they are not good at Excel, if they are not good at handling the social media, if they are not, see, social media, they might be handling, but that is in different panel. So I don't want to highlight on that aspect, but really I would want that how good this social media use can be made of. The social media can be used for your business. You can use it for your marketing your products. You can use for marketing you also as an individual, if you really are into that kind of field. So I think that digital skills are very, very important. When as I mentioned during the webinar also, during pandemic we were not into the classrooms, we were all online. And what got everybody else connected was that our basic skills just to operate the laptops or operate our devices, and really to be on those platforms which we really did not use it earlier. Nowadays, when the students are knowing this, I think if they learn this, I think they'll be in a better position to work in the industry. They will be not new, like going raw in the industry. Rather than that, if you are upskilling yourself, if you are at all having good, you are saying that you are very good at communication skills, but maybe you might be poor in digital skills. So you need to upskill there. You need to have that additional skill. You need to have that hip pocket skill that I mentioned. So these skills are very, very basic skills. I think the students should focus. This is the first thing that I would like to quote here. I think this is the answer for your first question, Chitra ma'am. Moving on to your next question about the skill development. Yes, our institute, Anekant Institute of Management Studies, I think in 2016 we started the skill development workshops. And those workshops we are till date, every year we are conducting those workshops in the rural colleges, in the nearby colleges. All the students, they are benefiting so much from these workshops that the content, the structure of the workshop, what is needed, that we do not design. We do not design the content and the structure of the workshop. That is customized. That is as per the requirement of the college where we are delivering that workshop. They give us the structure. They customize it. They ask us that could you please customize for our students these sessions. So say for an example, it's interview skills, it's writing a resume, writing your CV, or maybe personality development. So the combination of these sessions, this customization we get from this requisition we get from the colleges. They ask us to do. And then our institute, our in-house faculty, our in-house experts, then we deliver those workshops in those nearby colleges. And I really feel very proud in stating on this national platform that students, when they are benefiting, it gives a kind of satisfaction to us that yes, we are able to reach to them and we are able to at least teach them something what is required by the industry. When they do not know how to face the interview, when they do not know how to write a CV. And really, After the workshops are over, I would like to mention here that students do call us and they do send us their resume and their CV and ask us to rectify, to find out the faults, to find out the flaws in their CV and ask us what extra can be made, what extra can be written in this to make it more, even more effective. So when students come like this, it really gives us a kind of satisfaction that yes, for the rural students, at least we are doing our bit. And I'm very proud to be a part of that institute, which is really looking for the well-being of the rural students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I
Thank
hope, ma'am, I have justified your question.
very much. And I believe that skills development should be an integral part of education, and it should be incorporated in each and every school, college, higher education institute, everywhere. So thank you so much. Dr. Sonal Bhatt, ma'am, if we can have you on screen.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. You, as you have mentioned about financial literacy, and that is very, very important. I would like to ask, ma'am, that when we talk about this kind of a financial literacy, and especially nowadays, people even they get उनको credit card तो मिल जाता है, but they don't know कि क्रेडिट कार्ड की लिमिट कैसे देखनी है, और जब वो बाद में लोन लेने जाते हैं तो उन्हें पता चलता है उनकी क्रेडिट लिमिट तो बहुत लो है एंड ऑल दैट. सो इसके लिए भी लिटरेसी नहीं होती. बट द वन थिंग दैट आई वांट टू आस्क यू इज, आपने बताया कि दैट स्किल जो काउंसिल है, फाइनेंशियल स्किल काउंसिल, दे हैव प्रिपेयर्ड द 10 pointers for that. I'm sorry, 5. So but they are doing it. Will it be incorporated in each school, colleges and educational institute also, or if in order to get the training of that, people have to join the financial sector skill council?
Well, as far as my understanding goes, the National Council for Financial Education is propagating this idea. So they have come up with a policy. The policy was, the strategy, which is part of the policy, was framed in 2019.
Right.
And before that, they have done the survey. The first one, as per my knowledge, this was the first survey done by a government institution in India, which revealed the fact that the financial literacy in India was very low, only 27%. So after that, they came up with a plan of action, and that is why all those, five points they have come up with, that this is what we need to do. All these 5-prong strategy we need to come up with in order to increase financial literacy. So this started in 2019. I am expecting that now that they will slowly start propagating it. As to including it in the school curriculum, I'm not really sure, because school education as of now is a state subject. So whether they are trying on their own, or whether they have the authority or the jurisdiction, I'm not sure. But certainly, why would you wait for the council to do that? In fact, the schools themselves, the school education boards themselves, or higher education institutions themselves, they should try to incorporate it on their own, maybe, because the need is already felt, isn't it? So we don't wait for somebody to tell us what to do. We would start doing it on our own. I think the starting point for us as educational institutions would be to take a survey of our students who come in, maybe graduate students or even undergraduate students. Take a survey and find out as to where they stand. What is the kind of knowledge that they already have? Because kids are also quite smart. So there's some things that they know, and some things that they lack. So first thing is finding out as to what is lacking. You can begin from there, and then you can have workshops, you can have talks or lectures, or you can have films. There are many films, small films, and comic books also. There's I just recently saw a comic book which is published by the Reserve Bank of India, which is explaining how financial fraudsters conduct frauds. And that can be, I mean, it's a kind of a storybook that can be narrated to students. That can be so that all those aids are available. We just need to make use of them and deliver those sessions or conduct those programs for our students, so that we can start doing. We don't need anyone else to really initiate. We can initiate ourselves. That's what I think. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. We hope that we will be seeing soon this kind of a change in our education system. Also, like to ask, ma'am, that being trained through a sector skill council, how does it make difference in yourself? Like, what benefit you feel being trained through a sector skill council? If you want to share.
Yeah, I did my training with you. I enrolled for the training of trainers program, and it was a very good program. It was a good experience. It was a 4-day program, and it was a very intensive one. And one of the things that I liked was they specifically asked us to keep our cameras on all the time. Now, I mean, so basically, it means that you need to be. They wanted us to be serious about it. They wouldn't tolerate if you just, you logged in and then you are just going around and putting your camera and your voice off, and you basically while of it. That is so that was the intention was made very clear, and it had an impact. We all had our cameras on, and also we were paying attention. Of course, we would have paid attention anyway, but like it was communicated very clearly that this is what you have to do. So that's very important, because when sometimes we always we focus on the trainer, but we should also focus on the trainee as to what we expect from the trainee. Okay, we are going to teach, but how do we want you to learn? So that was communicated very well in right in the beginning, and very powerfully so. And I really appreciated it. I maybe people don't like that they are being asked to keep their cameras on, but it's very effective in sending the message that yeah, these people mean business, and they're not going to tolerate if you are going to just take it very casually. So that was something, and and this doesn't happen in many of the programs, many of the webinars that we attend. This kind of specific instruction is not given. So that is something that I really appreciate. Secondly, we were asked
Ji.
to the entire the curriculum was divided into all of us, and we were supposed to prepare and explain and discuss it. So it was more self-learning, and the trainer was only a facilitator, and that gave us a lot of opportunity to interact, to speak our mind, to raise our doubts, to express opinions. So it was a very lively kind. Even though it was a digital classroom, it didn't feel like a digital classroom. We were all there on the on your screen, and we were all participating all the time. So it was I mean, otherwise the digital medium can get very boring, because there's no physical personal interaction. So it's really, that is the only, I mean, that's the main lacunae of the digital classroom. But this digital classroom was different, because the teacher was different, his way of conducting was different, and the students, of course, all of us were there, and I really enjoyed. So it was a wonderful experience for me.
Thank you so much. And I'm so proud of all 3 panelists of mine on our, those have come on our platform today. And I've seen you as an educator, I've talked to you, and I can proudly say this, that our education system is in a safer hand if we have educators like you. So all the best to all of you, and have a good night, a sound sleep, and proud of you. So thank you so much. And thanks to all our viewers, those who are watching us live on YouTube. And we'll be back tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you.